All right, hey guys, welcome to today's episode of the Glow Collective.
I'm your host, Dr.V, and this episode is all about mastering your skincare routine. Specifically, we're going to talk about, are you an over-exfoliator? And so many other fun topics. So get ready, it's about to be glow up time. So, all right, mastering your skincare routine. This is going to be a common theme, my listeners. We're going to cover some aspects of your skincare routine over the next several episodes and weave that in. We'll share some of my favorite routines, glow up hacks and tips, quick things that you can apply in your routine tonight or this morning. And we'll ask questions over the upcoming episodes like, are you using the right vitamin C? Are you using the right retinol? How do you choose the right product for your skin type? Do you even know what a skin type is? And do you know what yours is? Are you maximizing your antioxidants? Or are you stuck on just vitamin C? When do you use a mask and how often? And when is it too early to start skincare procedures? Like preventative baby Botox, microneedling, microdermabrasion. We're gonna cover a lot of these concepts and there's so many. And so we'll just pick one. And if you have requests of different things to cover, send us a message. Let us know, comment on the episode, and we'll weave it in as we want to make sure that we are answering some of your burning questions. And to start, how do we shift your skincare routine to a routine of self-love? That is what I want to cover as we dive into using exfoliating as the topic to delve into that. And so, you know I love your skincare routine. You know that if you come to see me, I want to know everything you're using. I want to know exactly the ones, and you know that often, if I don't know it, I'm going to look it up with you and check the ingredients. The ingredients are key, and I love seeing if and where it fits into your ideal glow-up routine. And you know that I love, once we have what products you're using, we're going to see which ones still have a role, especially if we're going to be starting prescriptions or if there's other over-the-counter ones that I think would be better, and really break it down into your AM and PM routine, as well as, is this a product you use every day, how often, etc., etc. But to start, here's a quick message from one of our awesome sponsors. All right, guys, I want to take a quick minute to give a shout out to our sponsor, Prolinium. So Prolinium is the maker of two of my absolute favorite fillers, Revenus Versa and Revenus Lips. Now, these two fillers are incredible because they have the highest concentration of hyaluronic acid, which is a magical little molecule that is naturally produced in your body and helps keep your tissues hydrated and healthy. Now, both of these fillers are loaded with this molecule, and the high concentration means that Revenus produces long-lasting, beautiful results that will always look completely natural while keeping your skin and lips healthy and hydrated. Now, Revenus Versa is one of the newer FDA-approved HA injectables used to treat mild to severe facial wrinkles and folds, such as those smile lines around the mouth. It's one of the best ways to take years off your appearance and help you smile with total confidence. It is hands down my favorite and go-to HA filler. If you've been thinking about improving those smile lines and refreshing your look, then you've got to try Versa. Use promo code LIPS to receive 10% off your first treatment with me, or find a local Revenus provider near you. Now, welcome back, guys. Before we actually dive into everything formally, let's start with a small centering exercise. And why? Well, I want to make sure you're in a good mood to really receive this information. And I would really love for it to resonate and really marinate into your thought process and your energy. And so with that, here we start. Wherever you are at, I invite you to take a deep breath in and exhale it out. Now take another deep breath in and exhale that out. And finally, we'll take one more deep breath in. And just imagine you're inhaling all of the goodness of the magic of skincare. And now exhale that out. All right. So I want you to think about why you're listening to this podcast. What do you hope to gain from this episode? And what draws you to the Glow Collective and the Glow? And as we dive into your skincare routine, I want you to think about your skincare routine, both your morning and your nighttime routine. Do you even have one? Or do you just slather on some things and call it a night? So I invite you to think about what you did this morning, if it's daytime for you, or what you're going to do tonight. And is it a process that you enjoy doing? Do you feel good when you're doing your skincare routine? What do you notice about your skin as you do it? Do you love the skin you're in? Or are there things that you find fault with? And if you tend to find faults with your skin or your appearance, and we all do that. I frequently look in the mirror and I'm like, don't like that smile line, so we're going to use this tomorrow. That's normal. But it's all about finding faults, or if you find a fault, do it, embrace your faults, embrace the things that make you unique. And even if it's that wrinkle or your skin condition, I want you to start to shift the focus to how grateful you are in this moment and make it more about the action, just more about the skincare routine. Let's turn your skincare routine into a process of self-love and make it something that you love doing, that you can find joy in, and that when you look in the mirror, you no longer look and see the flaws. You can start to look and see the beauty. And it's that shift in perspective that makes the world of difference. And I want you to think about, as we dive into this, how you're going to pick up some of these tips and how these tips will further shift you into a loving space and welcome in that feeling of love and of truly glowing in your skin. And next, I want you to express gratitude for your skin and all that it does. I mean, come on, like seriously, do you even understand how amazing your skin is? Your skin is the largest organ in the body. I mean, you have your liver, you have your heart, you have your brain, but literally, your skin is the largest organ. Your skin is the first barrier with the world. It functions to protect your body from foreign invaders. It helps to process tactile and sensory information. It sends signals to your body important for your repair and your immune system. It modulates the temperature of your skin that then sends feedback to your body. I mean, there's so many incredible things your skin does. And I'm going to geek out on it because, yes, I'm a skin doctor. And as a dermatologist, we learn the ins and outs of your skin. We learn all the layers everywhere, how it differs, how the skin on your palms differ from the skin on your abdomen or on your trunk, the thickness of the eyelid skin to the skin on your knee or something like that, So ultimately, what I want you to really understand the gravity of your skin and all the beautiful things it does. And often we do take things in our life for granted, and many of us take our skin for granted. So I think expressing gratitude for what it does and just loving how it keeps yourself healthy and it keeps yourself warm, how it gives you the ability to feel pressure, pain, other stimuli. It's really incredible. And so I would love for you to revisit that exercise of just tuning into yourself and turning your skincare routine into a routine of self-love and start to express gratitude for yourself and your skin and all that it does, and use it something that you can incorporate into your morning and your evening routine. And do it this week. Do it this week and try it. And just watch as you start to feel that love and gratitude, how those feelings can marinate into other areas of your life. And just keep that in mind as we get on with the show. So, another question for you is, how can we reframe our routine with the thought of, how can I step out of hate or body shaming into a place of love? And why? Because all of this is creating awareness. And isn't that what it's all about? What I want for you is to really love your skin and to create these long-lasting shifts. And the way we talk to ourselves is really important, and it does intensify, and it can really improve the results that we get. And I promise you may not shift immediately, but I promise if you do these things wholeheartedly, you will shift over time. And all of this behavior modification, it all is rewiring your brain chemistry. And if, we have to teach our body chemically how to rewire our circuitry. And all that takes time, practice, and integrity to valuing yourself, your body, and your mind. And once you know the what and the why, the how is next. And the how comes only when after you truly understand what you're doing. And so when you have your skincare routine, what are you actually doing? Let's dive into a couple recommendations that I make when we talk about your skincare routine. So often, I usually recommend starting with a cleanser. Now, the type of cleanser you use depends on what your skincare goals are and also on your skin type. If you are acne prone or you have oily skin, or you're dull and wrinkly and you want to improve your complexion, often we'll choose an exfoliating cleanser. And there are different types of exfoliators. There's ones that are physical exfoliators, and you have your chemical exfoliators. And by chemical, it doesn't have to mean that it's a toxic substance. We have chemical reactions going on in our body. So a chemical reaction is a specific type of substance that elicits string of events in the body. And that substance can be like a toxic chemical, but it can also just be a botanical or natural substance as well. And so with chemical exfoliators, basically, these are helping, whether it's a mechanical or a chemical exfoliator, these are going to take off that top layer of the skin to bring up new fresh cells from the bottom to the top. And the only difference between the chemical and the physical exfoliators is how they do that. And so with the chemical exfoliator, they are these solutions that are slightly a little more acidic than your skin, and they penetrate into the skin cells and cause them to loosen and release kind of their attachments from the ones next to it and from the living ones. And so you can think of it kind of as loosening the adhesions or glue between skin cells so that they become less sticky, and then your body kind of sloughs them off. With something like a mechanical or a physical exfoliator, this is using something external. So instead of it getting internally into your skin, it's just working on the top layer, on the barrier of the skin. Often these are slightly abrasive. So whether you're using something like a washcloth or a face scrub, something which has beads, or a cleansing brush, or even many people will make their own sugar or coffee scrub. These are mechanically from the outside sloughing off those dead skin cells, but they just work in a different way. And often the physical exfoliators are ones that I usually recommend steering clear of, because we tend to be a little more harsh with your skin, and they can actually make your skin a little more sensitive. So I usually recommend avoiding the physical ones on your face and using them either on your body, like on your arms or your legs. Those are great. Or elbows, knees, like your feet. That's a great area. And then for your face, unless you're very gentle, I would use a chemical exfoliator. And with the chemical exfoliators, we have two main types. And these are your hydroxy acids, and you have your alpha hydroxy acids, and you have beta hydroxy acids. And this is great if you have oily skin, or if you have acne. They can also be excellent. Now, what are the differences between your alpha and your beta hydroxy acids? Those are your types of chemical exfoliators. So basically, Alpha hydroxy acids they're very versatile. These include things like your glycolic acid, mandelic acid, and lactic acid. And if you guys know me, I love my glycolic acids. They're amazing for just revitalizing dull skin. So if you're trying to combat the aging process, or if you do have acne, this is excellent. And lactic acid is actually one of the few topicals that we can use that are safe in pregnancy. So lactic acid is my go-to type of exfoliator if you are pregnant. And so both of these, so the alpha hydroxy acids, they work to speed up your cell turnover. So what this means is that your cells are turning over faster, so they heal faster, and it's revealing nice, new, revitalized skin underneath. And when you do this with other topicals like your moisturizers, if you're using your antioxidants, your hyaluronic acid, all of these, because now you have newer skin, they're going to get absorbed into your skin easier. And the alpha hydroxy acids are water soluble, so they really help to hydrate, and they're great for drier or combination skin type. Now, your lactic acid is the gentlest one, and that's because it's a little bit of a larger size, so it can't really get as deep in the skin as your glycolic acid can. And so this is great for sensitive skin, and yes, if you're pregnant, that one's also excellent. And so now with your beta hydroxy acids, these are really common, and really the main one is your salicylic acid. And I know pretty much almost everyone's heard of salicylic acid. It's a very common over-the-counter product, especially in the lower percentages, and we use it to treat acne. And it works for acne because it's great for oily skin because it is oil soluble, so it can pass through that lipid barrier. And so it helps unclog your pores, your skin cells, and decrease the bacterial load, which consequently decreases inflammation. And at the same time, it also increases your cell turnover. So you do get nice, beautiful, shiny skin as well.
And now for a message from one of our sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by Alive and Vivid Skincare, featuring Bakuchiol Glow, their signature serum containing bakuchiol, a revolutionary plant-based retinol. It also contains cannabinoids, specifically CBD and CBG, as well as other botanicals to combat common signs of aging, including wrinkles, redness, and texture. This is also great for rosacea-prone or acne-prone skin, or those who cannot tolerate retinols and desire alternatives to their skincare. It is formulated with effective and cutting-edge ingredients for those who desire cleaner, medical-grade skincare. Visit drvskin.com/alivevividskincare to learn more and use the promo code BAKUGLOW to receive 10% off your first order. Visit the show links to find this information.
All right, so next I want to cover a little bit about when you're starting your exfoliator, what are common things to look for, and how often should you use these products? And also, what is the best percentage that you want to use? And, there are in-office peels that we do that have a higher percent of salicylic acid, a higher percent of glycolic acid, 20, 30, 40, 50+% of these hydroxy acids. And basically you're delivering a more potent concentration, which is going to turn over the skin more. And that's why you do get a better peel. And these are things that are done best under supervision of a dermatologist or with an esthetician. And because you can get chemical burns, you can get pigmentation reactions. And we see these, you guys. We see the reactions from patients that are using these at-home chemicals, and maybe they're not the right ones for their skin types, or they're not properly using it, and you have side effects from it, like burning and pigmentation, dark areas, and different things like that. So usually if you're going to start one, choose a low percentage. If you're doing something like salicylic acid, 1% to 2% is great. If you're doing like less than 1%, not going to be as effective, but okay if you have more sensitive skin. And for your glycolic or lactic acids, and even mandelic acid, usually I like to start with like a 10%. And if you have more sensitive skin, or if you're rosacea prone, start with a lower percentage. And there's so many different ones over the counter. But one of my favorite glycolic acids would be from Biopel. and I love their gel cleanser. And it kind of dives into the formulation and the vehicle that it's in. So you can get your topicals that are in like a gel or a cream, and these do play a difference in your skin type. And you know that I often will change your topical to either a cream, gel, or ointment, depending on how much, if I want to increase the potency of it or how much more I want it to penetrate into the skin, et cetera, et cetera. But usually you can start, with a serum. A serum's going to be more ultra potent, or a cream or gel cleanser, and that's fine. And when you first start, I always say, test an area of skin. Don't go start slathering it on all over, because you don't know if you're going to have a reaction. And if you do react, at least it's only a small patch of skin. So I usually will pick an area like on the side by like my jaw, maybe near my ear. I try to avoid the neck, just because the neck is a very sensitive area of the skin. And test it, once, you can do it once or twice a week and make sure you don't react. When you first start an exfoliator, if you're not using anything else, you can start once or twice a week. And if it is a stronger exfoliator, you really don't need to use it more than a couple times a week. If it's a lower potency, you can use it daily. But if you're using a stronger concentration, you want to use it less frequently, because, we live in a society where we think more is more, but really less is more. And we want to give the body adequate time to turn over. If we're overstripping the barrier, you're going to get side effects. And we see that all the time, where you're getting dry, peely, extra redness, and often you're mixing different exfoliators and you're using products that you don't know exfoliate, and it can create a little bit of a nightmare situation. But that's what I love doing, is seeing everything you're using and really trying to identify, what is a way we can streamline your routine, and where are some of your products overlapping? And are there ways where we can use a product in multiple different ways as well? All right. So next I want to dive into, I want to make sure you really understand this process of exfoliation, and really talk about the skin cell turnover, and making sure you understand how long it really takes for your skin to renew. If we're young, like in babies, your skin can renew itself within 2 weeks, within 14 days. When we're younger, like a teen, we see this process takes a little less than a month. And so often a lot of our patients that have acne, their acne improves the quickest because their skin is more youthful and regenerating at a quicker pace. And when we implement these products, we're seeing the results sooner. But once we hit adulthood, it starts to lengthen. The process lengthens. And so in adults, it really takes 30 to 40 days or so. And above 50, the aging process takes longer. And that process it can take, in some people, it can take almost 80 days. So that's almost 3 months, 2 to 3 months. And so implementing these types of products, like these exfoliators, can really help with the youthfulness and the longevity of the skin. And, as we get older, it takes your body longer to repair itself, to really replace the damaged skin cells. And the longer it takes for your skin to renew, the more you're going to get a buildup of these dead cells. And those excess dead cells make you look dull and not glowy. So as we exfoliate, you get a beautiful glow or shine, and this is from the outside in. And so now that you understand how that process works, I want you to think about do you even exfoliate? And if you do, are you an over-exfoliator? And be honest with yourself. Is it something that you're exfoliating once or twice a day with a really heavy substance? And do you have sensitive skin where your skin can't tolerate it? And if not, then consider backing off on your exfoliator and alternating your cleanser with a gentle cleanser or an oil-based cleanser or a hydrating cleanser. Other things I love is adding in really hydrating ingredients as you exfoliate. So add in hyaluronic acid to use afterwards, and make sure you're using a really great moisturizer, that
I try to say avoid really heavy oil-based ones if you have acne-prone skin. But if you have dull or dry skin and you don't tend to break out with acne, use a thicker moisturizer. One of my favorite products is Sente's Dermal Repair Cream because it helps hydrate from the inside out. But add in anything with hyaluronic acid, B5, those really help to hydrate the skin and really support a healthy skin barrier. So now that you know, don't exfoliate every day, what's the next thing about your exfoliator? Well, if you are using an exfoliator, you want to make sure that you're wearing sunscreen because your skin is more sensitive in the sun. And so, especially if you have acne and you're on an acne protocol that includes either retinols or prescription retinoids, or if you're just using other type of potentially irritating substances, you definitely want to make sure you're wearing sunscreen because your skin is going to be a lot more sensitive in the sun, especially to minimal exposure. So this includes, and this is something I frequently say to my patients, I say, if you are going for a walk to pick up your mail from the mailbox, you do need sunscreen on, especially if you're using these products or you're getting procedures done. If you're driving in the car to drop your child at school, that sun is coming through the windshield and you bet it's going to get on your skin. And so often wear your sunscreen because we can see reactions from patients that are using these products and they forget to use their sunscreen and they either become more pink or they get some irritation or dermatitis or they get post-inflammatory pigmentation or darkening of the skin. And so want to make sure you're wearing your sunscreen. And I usually say at least SPF 30 to 50 and try to use a physical blocker. And we can dive into sunscreens, in another episode. But I think all of those are really, really important things. And now having learned some of the details of maybe more than you ever wanted to know about exfoliating, I want you to rethink and revisit your routine and what you're going to do tonight or tomorrow morning. What cleanser are you going to use? Are you using a toner? Are you going to take a few days in between your exfoliators or are you going to continue on? And, as you're doing your routine, I really want you to really think about stepping out of body shaming and really disliking or hating something about your skin and really start to revisit the places that you love and what you love about your skin. This is all so important. And, if there's things you dislike about your skin, that is okay. But I think the bigger picture is to understand the why. And the why is creating awareness. And you guys, awareness is the name of the game. It's the name of the game. Because once you know that you truly desire long-lasting change, you want beautiful, glowing skin, that you love your skin, and you are speaking to yourself with this love, you're going to really accentuate the results. And you may not feel this shift immediately, but I promise if you practice this, over time you will. And you may not do it every time, but it's just a matter of noticing when your thought process shifts to negative self-talk or where you're putting yourself down. And this is really important. I love behavior modification. And just because I've taken myself through countless processes, really modifying my behavior to a place where I love the body I'm in and I love the skin I'm in. And yes, I do the procedures that I love because they do enhance the natural beauty of the skin and they make me feel better, but it's all in the process of self-love. And as you move towards that, you're going to rewire your brain chemistry. And when you look in the mirror, if you can start to elicit the feelings of love and joy and gratitude, you're now going to teach your body chemically how you want to feel when you look in the mirror. And when you do that, you're going to start rewiring your neuronal circuitry. And if you do that over time and with practice and with integrity to valuing and loving yourself, your body, and your mind, I promise you will see these shifts and your outlook will start to shift.
And once you know the what and the why, the how is next. And the how really comes once you understand what you're doing.
All right, you guys, and now for a little bit more from our sponsor, Prolinium. I'm even more excited with the launch of their newest filler, Revenous Lips. Did you know that lip rejuvenation is one of the most popular and requested minimally invasive procedure right now? You guys, as we age, our lips tend to look deflated and dry. For all of my glow getters curious about lip rejuvenation, we can create a subtle and naturally beautiful pout that will never look puffy or overdone. It's what I want to get in my own lips. And unlike other fillers, Revenous Lips is scientifically formulated to reduce swelling and produce long-lasting results. If you're curious to learn more, check out our Instagram page at DRVSKIN to see some of my amazing before and afters. Or you can find the local Revenous provider near you using the link in the show notes. And use promo code LIPS to receive 10% off your first treatment with me.
So please use this as a practice in tuning into yourself, into listening to your skin and listening to your body. And next time you're picking up a product, if you tend to be an over-exfoliator, like I had a problem with over-exfoliating, you guys. I don't think you understand. Like I would exfoliate daily, sometimes twice a day. And even after procedures like dermal infusion or microdermabrasion, where you shouldn't use a product, I would put on the exfoliator so that I turn over the skin more. But what I was doing was traumatizing my skin. And yes, as you break out, as you're removing those top layer of skin cells, you're also opening it up to things invading it. So whether that's now dirt and oil, that if you are sleeping on a dirty pillowcase or you're sweating, you will break out more. And the skin does go through a purging process. So when you do start these products, you can break out. But as you learn to ask yourself, what does this skin condition or what does this skin change really mean? So if you are noticing your scarring or texture or wrinkles or acne, begin to understand what it is specifically about the wrinkles, about the scarring, or about the acne. Like, understand what it is about that condition, what it is that makes you feel a certain way, and what is the feeling that it makes you feel. You may feel less pretty, or if you're noticing wrinkles, that you're getting older, and if you're getting older, that may make you feel less desirable. And if you're less desirable, it may make you have the feeling of not being wanted or not being worthy enough. And so now we're identifying what the underlying source issue is a feeling of unworthiness or not being loved or desired, right? That is the real topic at hand, not the over-exfoliating. So I think these are all really important things to start to really begin to just observe. And so now if you understand that, okay, I'm doing this action because I feel XYZ. So I'm doing this because I feel it's in this scenario, it's unworthiness. So you can now begin to look at other ways that unworthiness is being expressed in other avenues of your life. Maybe it's in your choice of partners or your inability to get a promotion. And maybe it's also in the ways that you overcompensate about it. Often, if we're feeling a lack of something, we tend to overdo it in another regard and overcompensate. And so, do you go above and beyond to prove yourself or have a need to prove yourself? And this is, a really common theme in a lot of my type A guys and gals and those that really embody the perfectionism trait. And the whole idea of perfectionism is something that's really important. And I do want to touch base on it at a later topic. But now what I will say is it's all stemming from a place of lack. And when we can begin to learn where we feel lack and where we feel those voids, we can see the actions we take to fill those voids and whether they're going to be healthy or unhealthy actions. And when you learn to fill your cup with things that really
make you feel amazing and wonderful, and things that are, as I say, like they're self-serving habits, not self-sabotaging habits, you're starting to fill that cup in a way that stays full. And anytime you feel your cup empty, it's time to fill it with an action that's going to keep it staying good for a long period of time, and not fill it with something that's temporary. Because all too often, we're just numbing ourselves because we're not ready to to dig deeper and dive into our behaviors and emotions. So once you understand your why and you find areas of blocks, right? Like we identify the area of block, it's time to go through the process of changing your living habits. So that's the first step. So you can start doing things that make you feel amazing and give you that self-worth and give you that confidence in yourself. So whether that's applying for that job, starting to go to the gym, for me, it was the freedom to express myself creatively, like with my voice and with my energy. And for one aspect, I'll give you one example here, is I used to be so afraid of dancing. Like I would never dance. Anytime we were at any family event, or any wedding or any event, you would see me in the corner. I would just be watching and enjoying myself watching because I was afraid of dancing. And so when I started the practice of stepping out of my comfort zone and really digging deep into what was going on internally to make me self-conscious and live in a place of true authenticity, I was like, okay, now I'm going to shake things up. And, I can be a little intense, I suppose. And a way for me to step out of my comfort zone was by allowing myself to be nominated and selected to dance for one of our local fundraisers a couple years ago called Fort Wayne's Dancing with the Stars. And so with this experience, basically it's a fundraising event for mental health, and it's here in Fort Wayne. And they put on a show where you're paired with a professional dancer, and you go through a dancing style, and you pick a song, and you learn the song, and you have dancing lessons over the period of a few months, and then you dance this song you learned and rehearsed in front of hundreds of people. So that was my idea of fun and a way to really challenge myself to do something that I was so afraid of, and to let loose and learn to just embrace the moment. And so we did our dance to the song or to the tune of to salsa. And so it was a really beautiful experience, and one of the first times where I really allowed myself to open up because, guys, my mom is Dominican, so I have no excuse to not enjoy dancing. But prior to that, I came up with every excuse possible. Like, I lack coordination, my hips don't move like that, I can't feel the rhythm, I can't feel the beat. But as I went through my own process of unfolding and awakening into myself and coming into full expression of love with myself and feeling, I found myself opening up in ways that I kept myself hidden. And our skincare is a way that our relationship to skincare and your skincare routine is another avenue for you to open up and love yourselves. And that is the point of all of this, of everything we're doing here, to really come into the truest expression of ourselves and really to love ourselves. And you can only love yourself by understanding all the bits and pieces and things that all the different facets of yourself, and also identifying, where, you're feeling blocks or areas of trauma that you need to heal, and places where you're triggered. And we all have these growing up, and I've had my own fair share of these. And often when we're unaware of these areas of trauma, they creep up and they affect us in other ways. And so once you learn to get to the source of a cause and deal with it and understand it and recognize how much is shifting your life and how much your life can change for the
for the positive in the most incredible way by just working through it, you come into more alignment with yourself and you become more connected to the core of who you are and connected to your highest self. And that, my loves, is why we're fucking here. That's why we're here. And, as you follow, as you continue on with the rest of your day and your week, really just look at the ways that your actions mirror the feelings you want to feel. And look at the ways where your actions go against the feeling you want to feel. And if you're struggling with an illness or a condition, ask yourself, what does this illness mean to me? What does this skin condition mean to me? And what can I learn from this skin condition? So if you have acne or psoriasis or eczema, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And you guys, it's all a message from your body, from yourself to you that something is going on. And it may not be, with the skin. Often it's connected to something deeper within us, whether it's something metabolically going on or something psychologically or mentally or emotionally. These are all places to really look within and just feel and observe and begin to listen to your whole self and to no longer ignore the feelings that you're feeling and start and beginning to shift them in a positive way. And so I promise you, search in this way, practice, live authentically and truly feel, and bit by bit, we will start to reprogram ourselves to a state of love and bliss. And with that, I conclude this beautiful episode, and I can't wait for next episode. We're going to dive into some other amazing topics, but you know what time it is. It's time to glow. You guys have an amazing day.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode of the Glow Collective, I humbly invite you to take a conscious moment to keep this vision glowing. I would love for you to subscribe, rate, and leave us an honest review. And if this podcast resonates with you, share it with 3 or 4 of your family friends, tag me on Instagram at DRVSKIN, and let me know which words and messages really hit home for you. Let's get the message growing. And why? Because I really want you to glow. Our time is now, and this podcast is only made possible because of you, because I am called to give back to you and share these ideas, thoughts, and messages with all of you, my intrigued glow-getting listeners. We are high vibrational beings here to grow and feel. We are meant to create and perceive deeper experiences of connection and to ultimately enhance the level of love and joy in our relationships of our life. So this is a wrap to today's episode. I'm your host, Dr. V. Stay tuned for the upcoming episode of the Glow Collective, and let's live, love, and glow.